As I'm recording this, we are 2 months away from Championship Sunday for the World Championship. I'm very excited. But we're going to do predictions now. And not only that, we're going to do predictions today. I'm going to hopefully release them tomorrow before the Shift Summer League starts. But we're also going to use all of the off-season events to kind of determine like what I might end up changing. So I'm going to do World's predictions now and then World's predictions like the week beforehand to kind of see what the difference in my opinion changes, if my opinion changes at all, based on several different off-season or mid-season events, if you will. That being the Shift Summer League with a lot of North American top teams playing. Europe, all these teams aren't in that league, so it's unfortunate. You got some community cups for the Esports World Cup. You've got the Esports World Cup LAN. So I'm curious to see how these events are going to really change how my opinion goes as we lead into the World Championship. Obviously, there's a large break in between Major 2 and Worlds, so there's a lot that can happen in between now and then. But I'm going to be pretty high on North America, pretty low on Europe, to be honest. And I wonder how much delusion that is. But I think I am very happy, or well, I know I am very happy that G2 ended up taking it. That being said, enough rambling. Here we go. G2 Limitless, we don't need to talk about this. It's 3-0. Gentlemates Pioneers. I'm glad to see Pioneers back at LAN. This is an interesting story for Super Locky, as he did not qualify for a single LAN this year and managed to qualify for the World Championship. But on the flip side, last season, he qualified for every single LAN except for the World Championship. So it's an interesting flip. That being said, 3-0. I like the Pioneer squad, but they couldn't really get it done with Fiber. They ended up subbing in Mock for their last event, and that's where they got it done. And now subbing Fiber back in. They got 3 months to come up with it, but Gentlemates is just too good, in my opinion. Falcons Gladiators. This is the first time that I believe APAC is going to be facing a non-NA or EU team in the first round. So that's kind of wild. And I think this also guarantees that we'll have an NA versus EU matchup later on. Oh, I know what that matchup is. Fury versus OG. I had a lot of confidence in OG heading into this LAN. I had a lot of confidence in OG heading into Copenhagen. And for a future me that is probably listening to this and editing it into the video, don't have faith in OG again. I'm sorry, I can't. They went 1-3 again. I was hoping they can make a top 8. They can't. It's going to be a 3. I can't even give them a sympathy game. I'm sorry, guys. It's just, I've been scarred. I want to believe so much, but I believed the last 2 times and it just has not worked out. BDS anything. I'm not the highest on BDS. That being said, they seem to make it through the Swiss, and they're beating the teams that they should. Anything is that old Rule 1 roster, except they've completely changed. It's Naupo, Venom, and Mesho. This team scraped into Worlds. They didn't make the last major, but they were able to get enough points throughout the season over Twisted Minds. That being said, Naupo just got signed to Twisted Minds. I don't really know what is going on with Mina Rocket League. I'll give anything 1 game, but I mean, Venom we saw at the World Championship last year. Mesho, I don't think we've seen him on LAN ever. So I don't really know what that squad's going to do, but I'm expecting a 1-3 performance out of them. Vitality versus Secrets. Yeah, I was pretty high on Secret, but I'm also pretty high on Vitality still. I think Radosin getting sick on Championship Sunday was a massive downer, considering they went 3-0 through the Swiss. They're a lot better than a top 8 finish. I'm going to have this being a sweep. I like this Secret squad, but Vitality's too good. Gen.G Power. Power does very well in the first round, if you noticed. I think that's where they upset Oxygen. That's where they kind of stomped Gen.G. I think Power gets game 1, but Gen.G get the next 3. It's very similar to the Copenhagen Major. And then Space Station versus Carmine Core. Full delusion setting in. Listen, Carmine was... A lot of people are saying it's like, oh, what if we had seen 5 teams in EU make the LAN? It's like Carmine wouldn't have even been that 5th team. Like, we're saying, like, Carmine would have been the... How would the 5th team... How would Carmine done if they were at the Major as well? It's like Carmine were not ranked 5th in Europe. Like, they were not good. I'm not even sure. Like, we're only going to see them in Esports World Cup. And this is, you know what? This is the prediction that I could go back and change. And so I am predicting Space Station to finally beat Vatira. I think Space Station has faced Vatira at 6 out of the 8 LANs that they've attended. One of those LANs that they didn't attend, or that they didn't face Vatira at, was the LAN that Vatira didn't attend. So G2 Space Station in the Swiss, automatic 3-1. Gentlemates Gen.G. This is an exciting matchup, but it'd be full of delusion. I think this is one where Gen.G tries to make a statement, but then falls short again. I can see this going very similarly to Gen.G versus Vitality. Falcons BDS, banger again. Falcons 3-1 this time. I think they'll have a little bit more of a solid footing. I think it was a close series in the Swiss last time, but I'm I'm not feeling BDS anymore. I'm just not. Fury of Vitality, we get it at least once. Thank goodness. Zen talking back makes me believe that this Furia team can never beat Vitality again. 3-1. Favor of Vitality. I can't even give him a game 5. I think Vitality is going to be on a mission. Carmine Limitless, again, don't need to talk about it. Unfortunate for Limitless that they're kind of going to get boat raced here. And I'm glad that they are representing SSA, but when it comes to predictions, I want to see more. And maybe I'll give them a game down here, but we'll see. Power Pioneers, this is going exactly like Copenhagen, basically, where we get this matchup and we know what's going to happen. It's going to be a 3-0. Power is much better than Pioneers, especially on LAN. Anything Gladiators. This is a Gladiator squad that was able to take down Chiefs. Now, Mina 2, I just don't like. Am I willing? It's Nalpo, though. And, like, as much as he's a controversial figure, since, you know, I don't know if everyone who watches my channel knows this. He made some comments. Not comments that you should be making. And surprisingly, Epic didn't ban him. And so a lot of people are kind of cheering against him. But when it comes to predictions, it's like, I can't, like, he's still talented. Like, if I want to be right, unfortunately, I'm going to predict him. I'm not going to cheer for him, but I'm going to I at least know ball, unfortunately. And when it comes to ball, he's probably going to beat Gladiators. But I'll give Gladiators the 2 games here. And that could set up for something interesting later. Because I think this Gladiator squad, they were able to sweep Chiefs the last event. So, no idea with Venom and Mesho how they're going to perform. But I'll give them the 2 games, and we'll see how that goes. Secret versus OG. This was... Oh, man. You know when I say don't believe in OG? This is exactly the kind of series I'm not going to believe in OG for. I think Secret is actually going to do better this time now that they don't have the pressure of qualifying for the World Championship on the line. And they're going to beat OG and drop them down to this matchup. And this is what I was hoping for. G2 versus Gentlemates. Banger, first of all. This entire round is a banger. This will be the first time where we don't have one of each region in the 2-0 round. We had it for the both majors. I think I predicted it for this major as well, but this would be the first time that doesn't happen. But when it comes to G2 Gentlemates, we haven't had this matchup yet, and this will be revenge time for G2. They'll go through 3-0 through the Swiss. And for once, I'm not going to be called delusional for this take. Falcons Vitality is going to be hype as well. I think, hot take. I think Vitality is going to get Falcons in this one. I think it's going to be a very exciting matchup. Both these teams went 3-0 at the last event, which is why it's so exciting to see them match up in this 2-0 round. But I will be predicting Vitality to go through over Falcons. No shade to Falcons. I'm feeling the Vitality hype train. Radosin was sick. That's the only reason they weren't in the finals. No. That's the only reason they weren't in the semifinals. G2 would have been the reason they weren't in the finals. Furia versus anything. Yan is better than Napo. And unfortunately for anything, I just don't believe in either of their players. Genji versus Secret. This should be a 3-1 or a 3-0 according to apparently Jack. I'm inclined to agree with him. The one mid-season event that we've had so far is the Esports World Cup Community Tournament with with South America. We saw Furia versus Secret in the finals, and Furia took that 4-1. So that's really the only kind of like frame of reference I've gotten since London. But I really don't anticipate anything being different in this matchup. BDS versus Carmine. This is pretty exciting, and if there's ever a chance for Carmine to actually make their statement known, it's probably in this series. That being said, Carmine's the biggest team that I could swing my predictions on when it comes to the Esports World Cup. Because they have the biggest chance to really prove that they're out to compete with the top again. But until then, like, I'm just not predicting them. Do we get a Mickey run? How do we win in Game 5 and then get a Mickey run? Oh, man, this is the most undeserved power draw of all time. It'll be a 3-0 again. Or it was 3-1 last time. I'm predicting 3-0. Gladiators Limitless. I wish Gladiators wasn't like 2/3 Europe. Because this Limitless team actually has a chance. I think in order to spite Team Mobula, they will get 2 games. And Gladiators, unfortunately, I'll still predict them. But Limitless will make it a fun series. I know after Copenhagen, there was a show match in between Elevate and Limitless to see who was going to... It was just, for fun after the tournament, best of 7. Limitless swept them. Obviously, that does not correlate to RLCS results, so I'm keeping that in mind. And not only that, I think Gladiators and Elevate probably improved, while it doesn't really appear that Limitless have. That being said, we haven't seen Limitless outside of getting stomped by Colonizers. So what can you do? OG versus Pioneers, they'll drop a game and make it scary, but they still will win this game. Yep. Falcons SSG, of course. SSG. Of course. Listen, I want to predict them. I almost predicted them last time. I ended up being right in the 3-2. It was close. Falcons made a statement making the finals. Were they playing bad? Like, we don't need to have that discussion. We don't need to. G2 won the major. But I'm not going to be too delusional just yet. Just wait until after Shift Summer League when we win the whole thing, and then I will be delusional, and this result will change. Gentlemates BDS. Gentlemates have BDS figured out on land, and I'm not going to give them a single game. We saw what happened in that quarterfinals. I can't predict anything different until I see something different. Fury at Gen G could be exciting. Both these teams kind of scraped through 3-2. And I think this is where I'm going to go a little bit different. I'm going to get Gen G upsetting Furia in this one as kind of a statement. Gen G needs a quality win. They need to go through better than 3-2. Hopefully set themselves up for a semifinal and get fourth killer that title back. Absolute Mickey run by Carmine Core, by the way. Mickiest run of all time. They will be getting the best game differential you could ask for. Power versus OG. I said I can't predict better than OG 1-3. And Power has done nothing but make round 5. It just adds up. I'll give him 5 for the sympathy, but yeah. Secret versus anything. I'd be very excited to see this matchup between Sam 2 and Mina 2. We haven't had many matches between Sam and Mina, despite the fact that they're both the emerging regions that are swinging the highest. I'll give it a 3-1 in favor of Secret. I like this Secret squad, and I don't like this anything squad. So, revenge. Furia versus Carmine. Yeah, this could get interesting as well. I can't wait to see the Twitter banter between Jan and Vatira after the series. But, I mean, Furia did make a top 4. Carmine had a worse split than Oxygen. 3-2, because it'll be the best pop-off if it's a 3-2. Carmine goes out. Vatira does not make playoffs. And it's got to be the death of that roster. Space Station versus Secret. This will be pretty unclose. Space Station. They were able to take down Furia in round 4 of the last event, so I wouldn't really worry about Team Secret. Fun fact, Secret, we have faced them with most of our current roster. We faced them in the World's Wildcard. That was the team that we ended up picking in that draw. Won the series 4-2. It was an absolute Hawkster masterclass. But before that, we had ended up losing to them in Rotterdam, and that was a big proponent in us going out in the Swiss in that series. So it'll be a little therapeutic to go out in the Swiss by beating them. Power in round 5, though, I unfortunately cannot see past the series that I've seen so far. Oh my god, I forgot it was AFL. So everything matches up differently. Oh my gosh, this makes everything insane. Okay. G2 versus Falcons. We have a rematch with not everything on the line. It'll go to 7 this time. I still have G2 favored. Listen, Falcons, yes, I understand they started playing worse, but honestly, it was a close series up until a 0-second goal. And if we're able to look at Season 7 and say that 0-second goal is what, made the series so one-sided between G2 and Vitality, we could probably say the same for this. Like, that destroys your entire mentality. That's how you get, completely mental boon. And if anything else starts to go wrong after that, it's just chalked. So, that's probably my best explanation for what happened in the finals. I think the teams are closer than that. I think this will be the version of the series that delivers. So, I'll have G2 over Falcons in 7. Vitality Gentlemates, this will be exciting as well. Gentlemates have been phenomenal on land, but I don't think we've seen this matchup on land. And I'm going to go against the grain here. I'm going to give it to Vitality in 6. I think that'll be... We want to see Vitality defend their title, and I think I've actually really set ourselves up for that. Furious Space Station. 4-2. I'll give it 4-2. Listen, it's Hofstra versus South America. LJ's world class. We've already beaten them once. We'll beat them again. We haven't faced them yet this tournament, so I don't have to worry about the whole rematch thing that I stipulate. Gen.G versus BDS. This was actually a hot discussion on Reddit recently, where someone did the London Major if it had AFL, and this was the matchup that we saw. I think they predicted BDS to go 4-3, and either way, I think it would be a very interesting matchup. But because I'm North American, I have to predict Gen.G here. It's just I'm legally obligated. Apparently, Jack, as I've said multiple times, is my favorite North American. But BDS on land just have not impressed me. I know they won the last 2 online events, but we have since kind of seen through the lies of the Jedi, if you will. Gen.G haven't looked too great either, but as long as they don't completely look worse during Shift Summer League, I feel like I'll end up keeping this prediction. Falcons Gen.G, though, will be kind of the same. Gen.G gets eliminated here. No 4th killer, because that's a much tougher road to be 4th killer. They kind of get a little bit unfortunate by this bracket here, but it's not like it would have been any different. We would have seen G2 versus Gen.G, where I probably still would have predicted G2 now that G2 have broken that curse of losing to Gen.G 4 times in a row. And then they would have faced Falcons down here and lost. Gentlemate Space Station, as delusional as I am, I can't do it in my right mind. I'll give a 7 for the memes, but Gentlemates will definitely be beating Space Station. And if we manage to beat that Gentlemate squad, I'd go insane. That being said, top 6 for my team. Not embarrassed by that. Oh my gosh, I can't break my own rule. I can't break my own rule. I've had 2 rematches. I've had some, oh my gosh. Wait, okay. So the thing that I say over and over and over again is that it's so difficult to win against the same opponent twice in a row. The biggest exception we saw to this was Gentlemates over BDS in the quarterfinals. But other than that, all the results flipped. Like if you think of Fury of Vitality. Now, granted, there's some stipulation with Verdosen being sick, but just look at the Copenhagen Major as well. All those results flipped. So if you win in the Swiss, there's a more than likely chance I'm not predicting you to win in the next round. And so because of that, this time Falcons is going to get the win over Vitality. I'll give it to them in 7. Reigning world champions knocked out by Falcons. And because I have the stipulation, my predictions are going wild because this means Gentlemates would take down G2. I'll have it happen in 6. That way I'm just not only predicting game 7s. G2, this would be their first finals missed. Honestly, going into this, I really thought I was predicting G2 to win the whole thing. And if I had to just outright pick a winner, I would. But because of the whole face them once, you're able to adjust. G2 will end up losing in semifinals, missing their first finals of the season. Massive disappointment. No North America in the finals, but it's not like EU is dominating either. We see Falcons versus Gentlemates again with the rematch. And for the first time, I think Falcons, was their first finals as a team. Obviously, TRK's been there before, but the Twins haven't. There's a little bit of nerves. They get to you. We saw the nerves get to Daniel in beast mode. In Copenhagen, they were able to square it up, fix it for London. They won it. Gentlemates didn't have the same nerves necessarily, but they had Itachi and Seiko, who had already won majors before. Or Seiko had won worlds before. Gentlemates have won a major this season. Falcons haven't. I'm going to back what we saw in London, and I can't believe it. I genuinely can't believe it. But Falcons are my predicted world champions. I did not think I was going to be predicting this. I really didn't. Y'all know me. I crap talk Mina like all the time. I have so much fun with Mina fans on Twitter because I just go back and forth, especially when it comes to LJ having master classes against them. Like, I thought their 2 seed's been overrated the entire year. It got proven right. But I mean, I'll back this. It's a very viable world where Falcons are able to get back to the finals. They have that experience of losing there before, regain, take down Gentlemates one more time, win the world championship. So if bracket plays out like this, I got Falcons in my world championship as my world champions. Let me know what y'all think. I'll be going through this as we get closer to the world championship, seeing what I would end up changing. Maybe how the Swiss would end up changing as well, but hopefully just going through every single one of these predictions and say, yeah, that was a stupid take. So hope you all enjoyed, and I'll catch you all later.